fall off the chair would be one thing. So I've kind of, how do I build a good deck? Uh, because I already got my deck built, mine personally, and I'm gonna share with you guys how I do it and what I did. I'm not really good at this, so don't think that it's, what I do is gonna work for you guys, because it completely might contradict what you guys go by or what you guys do. So there's a lot of ways you can do this. You can start by just basically going card for card for card, and that would take you up to like probably a couple hundred years. It would take you a long time, plus it would cost you a lot of dough. So let's say, for instance, you only have $25, right? You have to pay $5 to get in, right? 10, and you want to use one, two, and you got to use some more little cash for like maybe food and trade and stuff, right? So how do I do this with a low budget deck or a low budget, you know? Sorry. So what do I do? Because I'm on low budget. Simple. The simplest way is, first off, you don't want to go just buy card for card for card. That's going to take you too dang long to do. And it's just really a waste of money. And that's not the right way to work a deck. So first off, figure out what kind of deck you are going to want to work with. Zombies, fairies, Toon World, Machine, Pyro, Dinosaur. Uh, the sky's the limit onto what kind of deck you can use. There's a lot of decks, a lot of cards out there that have different effects and different things with different cards. But basically, the same thing for every card goes, that they will have an effect. All cards will have an effect uh, that will help you be able to summon that high card that's in that deck, or will that's constructed around that deck. So, first of all, you definitely want to buy a structure deck. And because a structure deck is the fastest way to get you closer to being able to duel with your friends or professionally or whatever, that's the fastest way it would be. So, let's I guess maybe on a structure deck, right? Okay. So there goes $15, right? Ching. But that, don't worry, that's not all in vain. You're not spending $15 on nothing. You're getting your $15 worth on. You definitely will probably get your $15 worth of cards. So finally, the big day has come. Amazon has finally shipped that package, and your package can finally come. And you unbox that thing just like a child on Christmas. And you see your structure deck finally sits in front of you, the holy grail. Your child sits in front of you. And now is the time that you and your child get acquainted. This deck, when you let it grow, and it will do what you do and want it to do when you make it right. You work on it, you grow with it. So here's how I'm gonna let you in on the secrets when you grow with it. Now, because now this day and age, you're gonna have monsters that are gonna come in your structure deck, synchro, or potentially your XYZ cards. Okay. Now, those are gonna be your side decks because these are not gonna be part of your deck. Okay. Sorry, but it's true. So those are your side decks. those are good things to have. Use your synchro because now if you know that your structure deck has any of these in it, then you know that your deck is going to have support for those cards. Or if it has a fusion and two synchros, you know that your deck's gonna have support for it. So then what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to look at your deck. Okay. Ooh. Oh, okay. I like that card. No, I kind of don't like that card because that card just doesn't seem like it might help me. It says lose a turn for a direct attack. Hmm. Or pay 5,000 for a direct attack. Okay. Well, honestly, I don't want to pay direct attack. So choose now. Comes a time where, okay, I am looking at my cards and you're deciding now what cards you want to keep. Now, here's the big thing. If your cards have um, a certain card, like my card, my deck does, has like Maiden Eyes of Blue, which I can randomly summon my highest monster out of my deck, hand or grave. You're gonna want to keep that card. You're gonna want to keep cards that will help you with being able to summon the high monster that's in your deck, right? Because your high monsters that are basically built around your deck are what is really, 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 really important to understand and to look at. Because those are the kind of things that are going to make your deck a little bit better. Okay, so for instance, sorry, I have a bruise right here, you guys. Okay, so your deck basically now has assortment of cards. Now, this deck, you could probably use it if you wanted to already. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, but you can. But let's just say, for like purposes, you want to beef this up. You want to do what you you want to do something to try to make it a little more beefier. At least have maybe, let's say this deck doesn't have a lot of defense and it has more root for attack than it does defensive. So you do want to have a little defensive side, but you don't want to be too defensive, but you want to have enough that just a smidge of defense so that you can be able to have an ability to block your opponent's attack and you can attack, or vice versa. So, if these cards are okay, man, again, no defense, very little defense. Boy, this sucks. So, what am I going to do? Because, again, my limitations are I'm going to only have a certain number of cards in my deck, which are the minimum is 40 and the max is 60. Having 60 cards in your deck is probably not very good an idea at all. You don't want to carry 60. You want to have 40. Up to 40 or 50. 40 is probably the best because 40 you have more of a likely chance to draw that card that will help you more than if you had 50 or 60. Don't do 60 or 50. Go 40. So, because your deck is already kind of contained 40, you can look at your deck. Now, what I always do is, here's the big thing. I look at all the cards. Now, I put all the cards that are going to work simultaneously together to make a pile of 10. So, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then, oh, here's my high card. There's my high card. 10, right? So let me get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 10 monsters. Now, you're gonna definitely have traps. Now, you don't want to just use monsters because you'll end up like Joey, where you will get quicker than the game will end quicker than you probably it has ever been ended before. So you don't want to be in the Guinness World Record for the quickest loser or the quickest loss. So you definitely gonna have some traps in there to help you. So you do 10 traps that you know will work with your monster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, there's my 10 traps. Everyone, but this definitely worked for me. Now you're gonna get 10 spells and 10 magic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now, the reason why I do this, I go 10, 20, 30. There's 30 cards already. You can only have 40. You can only have 40 cards in your deck. So this is how it's going to work. The rest of your cards that you choose are going to decide whether or not you have a high weakness of low, are you going to want still that low defense side? Or do you still want to have that defense? Or do you want to have a better chance to defend? So if you got some cards that can defend, put some in. So what I do is I look at my other cards and I look and I say, okay, well, if I have extra cards, then I look at my extra and I see, okay, do these cards give me defensive? Okay, well, this monster, let's pretend this monster says I can block my my opponent can attack for 2 turns. Well, that's going to be really helpful. And it's only 1600, and he blocks my opponent's attack for 2 turns. Awesome. I need him. So 31. Okay, now I go back to my trap, or yeah, my traps. Okay, well, I need something that, maybe will stop my opponent's spell or trap cards. Okay, I got something like that. Okay, well, boom, 32. Now I go over and I basically do the same thing over and over and over again. Oh, block attack. That might work. 30, 33. Um, Now I go back to my monsters. And I do this. Oh, well, this monster, has a really good high attack. 34. Right? Oh, well, uh, this lets me draw out of my deck or out of my graveyard. Okay, I'm gonna definitely need that because cards that are able to put your high cards on the field are in the graveyard. So you want something to do that. Okay. So you keep doing that. So now let's check and see how many we have. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Okay, well, I got some more cards. 36. Oh, this card actually, oops, I'm dropping my cards. That's not good. That's not good at all. Okay, so let's say, oh, this monster right here gives maybe the effect that if it's destroyed, I can draw. My other card is like a level 1 monster, a level 1 light, or one of my monsters that will allow me to special summon my high monster. There we go. So you do that, same thing. Alright? Now you guys already get the point, Right, so let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Now, you are up to 39. You only get one more shot. So how is this going to work for you? Because you can either spell or a monster. What are you going to do? Well, you got to look carefully because you get one more pick. So now here's where I kind of got stumped. I do want to have good defensive and good blockage, and I do want to able to have monsters on the field that can from direct attack. But I do also want to be able to draw my cards, so you know, choose wisely. Those choices are up to you and you alone. Okay, now we got 3 cards in our deck, right? So basically, now you have built your deck. Um, YouTube. So now that you've built your deck, you basically now have your deck pretty much complete. Now, that doesn't mean that you can always change your deck, because you can, just not in the middle of duels. But, and that meaning, that way, I guess, of thinking kind of helps me doing it that way. The 10 10 10, so 10 20 30, has helped me be able to kind of get the quickest way to help me decide what I'm going to do for my deck. Now, again, you don't have to always stay with the first decision. I couldn't speak well. You don't have to stay with the first choice of how you built your deck. You can always build it different. You can change it around. It's okay. It happened to me quite a bunch of times, and I finally ended up getting to my deck to a point where I got my deck with good defense, good attack, good being able to block, being able to resummon my monsters back over up in my grave from my grave to my deck again. I'm able to build those things or do those things. And so my deck now is basically complete. I don't mess with it no more. Now, a lot of people are probably going to say, well, Romeo, you probably will mess with it. No, I won't, actually. I'm going to leave it alone. It's over. It's done. I have no need to mess with it again. My deck is complete. This is the deck that I basically am going to work with. I might strengthen it a little. I might do something a little bit if I get a better monster that I can do more combos with, maybe. I might change it up, but not to say that I won't. But for right now, it's going to be left alone. So again, remember, this is your deck is pretty much your baby, your child. You choose how and when you want to do things. With, you know, maybe I want to tomorrow try to see how it works. Good. Always try your deck. Test your deck. As soon as you're done, test your deck with ultimate fairness. You know, watch how your cards work. Whether, their effects, see if the effects that are able to summon your high cards are, helping you. Maybe your traps are doing a little bit less for compensating and getting your cards that you need back in your hand or from the grave back into your deck. Or, vice versa. Any problems. So, any problems you start noticing with your deck, or you start noticing, oh, okay. But once you kind of feel there will be a point where you will probably get down, don't do anything, then that means you've probably did it. You've probably gotten to where you want it to be. A lot of people tend to get to that point where you finally are. So let's say you finally do get to that point. Well, you've got it to up to like where all my attacks are basically pretty damning. My traps are basically gonna, all my traps are helping me. They're able to do what they need to do and they're helping me. My spells and magic are doing exactly the same thing as the traps. They're not, there's no flaw that you've noticed. So then that means basically that you have a deck now that can work, and your synchro monsters and all your other monsters to coexist with each other. They're able to work without having little to no um, ability for your opponent to make really bad, hurtful hits. You still might have some hits that are going to be really bad, but it's in a normal game. In any game, you are going to take some pretty heavy hits of life points and chunks. You are going to have your weak monsters in there. So maybe there are monsters out there that are supposed to get hit, and when it gets hit, it can summon one of your high monsters. That's the same thing with my deck. I understand it's going to be a little heavy on the attack, the life point section, but I'm willing to worth it because once I get my high cards out there, I know that all my high cards altogether there's 9,000 attack points. All three of my high monsters out there are pretty much 9,000 altogether. So I know that time when I get those cards, those are the cards that I rely on. So understand that you are going to be probably getting hit. It's going to happen. It's not going to always be a just where, you're not going to have the best deck. It's not going to be like in the TV show Yu-Gi-Oh, where you're basically, going to always pull out these cards and do wins. You probably might have some losses, but take it with a grain of salt. Maybe to see what you could better yourself in. Better either yourself or your deck. What maybe your tactics are not right. So it may not always be your deck. It may sometimes be you. So learn again. Now that you've changed your deck, learn what your deck is capable of doing. Learn your attacks. Learn your defensive. Learn what you can use to block your opponent. What you can use to make your opponent suffer a little, or summon. You can summon cards, or make your opponent lose life points, or take cards from his side of the field. Whatever. Learn these things, and you learn soon to be a better duelist. Your dueling skills will come with time and patience. It's not like you're gonna always end up right off of the bat taking everyone out to the cleaners. You're gonna have your clock cleaned a little, and having your clock cleaned kind of will teach you what either you need to do better for your deck or yourself. And I always learned that when you're dueling, no matter what, have fun. It's not about trying to be better than anyone because you're not trying to be better. You're trying to just you do want to win. That's the main goal of the whole thing of dueling is you're trying to win. But a loser, a nerd, how to deal with those. Don't let them affect you because you're not a loser. Because I think. Okay, gone. Oh, sorry. That coffee is just decreasing my energy. Um, you will probably get picked on. Just ignore it. Be proud of what you've done. You've accomplished something. This deck that you now build is something that you worked on and that you took the time, the patience, and the money to use or to create something that probably other people probably couldn't do or probably don't want to do it, but they're jealous because you have the time, the patience, and the skills to do what they can't do. I've definitely been called a faggot for playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I just tell people, well, okay then. I understand that you're jealous that I can do something, but you don't need to be mean because you're just. Now, when you go into duels, remember your deck will potentially have banned cards. So look up the cards list of banned cards before you start building your deck. I forgot to mention that too. Look online to see what cards are banned because if you play with banned cards, you then could get chunked out of the tournament, and you don't want that. And that would really suck for you. But if you're just dueling for like me for fun, then I would definitely say have fun. Use the cards. Uh, just as long as you agree that you and your opponent agree that those cards are legal, or even if your opponent uses illegal cards like Monster Reborn and Change of Hearts, then that's fine. Um, what if now I get these questions like, what if we play like the real Yu-Gi-Oh and we put cards on the line? That's a little harsh. That kind of game I don't get into. I did do it when I was a kid because I figured you could potentially win. But the outcome is that if somebody says put your best card on the line, don't do that duel. That duel is not worth it because you know, unless you know 100% for sure that you're gonna win, which you don't. I wouldn't do it. I would stay away from that duel. That kind of duel, I don't really condone or condemn playing people that are gonna cheat. Those kind of people are gonna definitely try to cheat the best way that they can by using either fake cards, making up their own rules, or breaking rules, or they're gonna either try to use cards that really shouldn't be used, or they're gonna do something a little fishy. And so you definitely want to make sure that if you do happen to get into one of those kind of positions where okay, you can put a card on the line, just make sure that you are prepared for the outcome, because the outcome could be really bad for you. The outcome could be that it's however however it happens, or however the outcome is, just remember that you got to make that decision for yourself. I am not saying that it's one that I would make for my personal reasons, because again, I know how some of those people definitely play. Those guys don't play with honor. Some of those guys try to play with the worst intentions of cheating and chipping you off, and at the end they will win because that's how it works. Now in the TV show Yu-Gi-Oh, you see in the Kingdom world how pardon me, how Yugi, they would put their star chips on the line. So star chips are kind of like basically putting cards on the line. Basically, the outcome is based upon how good you do and how good your deck is, and how good you realize that your deck is built around to do this certain thing. Now, whether or not your deck is built good or not, if you don't try, you're not gonna hit the nail. Excuse me. You're gonna lose for sure, and for sure, I know that you're gonna lose, and I don't want you to lose. And so I wouldn't want you to lose. So knowing that the outcome of this is gonna be, potentially something will happen. all that counts right now is that you have fun. You see what you do. You do everything right. You play the right way. You're very fair and considerate with other people, and that's good. A big thing that I forgot to mention on my side note of things to do when you're dueling with people is always ask to see their cards. Don't just grab, because if you grab their cards, they can assume that you're going to steal it. Okay, they might take the wrong idea that you're, or they may assume big or whatever, and you put your cards in, put them in your pocket or something, or hang on to them. Don't don't just sit it anywhere. All of a sudden, go up to another table, because that person sitting at that table with your deck on that table will definitely jack your cards potentially if they know that you have a good deck or a good cards that they may want, or they could even use that deck, and then that's it. You're out of your cards and you're out of that money that you spent. And then there's not a lot that people will do. They may try to get it back, but it may not work. So, be mindful that your deck that you spend a lot of cash and a lot of time with is pretty much your child. Like I said, you have to protect it. Not just in a duel is protection a thing, but even when you're trading, you have to watch all your cards that you are in, that you are owner of, or in your the proprietor. You're the main proprietor of those cards. Now, again, I'm not saying that there's people out there that will do it for. There are. I'm not just saying that everyone's going to be out there to go snatch your deck. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that there are people out there who will do it, and I've been victim of that. Have been had it 2 times. I think that had it happen to me, and then I finally got smart and I said, okay, this is it. This is what I'm going to do better. Your other cards may not be just as special as your deck, but still, they're worth something. Always make sure that you're prepared to, even for your other side decks, your other cards that you may just use for trading. Watch. Be mindful. Watch the people around you. Don't always trust what people will say. There may be somebody that comes up and says, "Oh, I'm not going to sell your cards, don't worry." Be suspicious. Don't accuse them. Don't straight out say, "Oh, you're going to steal my cards. I don't trust you." Don't do that. Just when that person is looking through your cards, be with them. Stay with them. Because those cards, even though they are your side cards, they're still your cards. You've spent money on them. You may have traded them. You best. So what I always will do is I will always stay with my cards. I literally have made trades where I had the person have his friends over on one side of the corner, talk to him while I was looking through his deck or his cards. And he stayed right there beside me. And I thought to myself, that's a good person. That is somebody that actually has the common sense. Not that I'm gonna personally try to do. I'm not gonna personally try to do it. Okay, I'm not the kind of person. I'm not going to do it because that's just not me. I'm not that kind of scumbag. But there are people out there that will. And him staying right by me, watching me, even though he had his eyes over on his friends, he was at least close by. So if I tried to take one of his cards, I wouldn't have gotten very far. It's a good thing. So always be mindful of, people around you. Watch your surroundings. I believe that, people are going to say, I'm not going to check your cards because there are tendencies that it can happen. Now, what if somebody wants to see your deck? The deck of cards that, the Yu-Gi-Oh deck that you spent your time and hours and money on, and they want to see it. What do you do with the deck that somebody that you spent wants to see? Well, here's the thing. Don't be afraid to let them see it. It's good. Always be able to let them see it. Whether or not you let them touch it or you just sit on the table and put the cards in front of you where they can see it and they can ask you to look at it closer if they choose to. That's up to you. But I always let people see, and don't be afraid because there are people out there that are willing to help you. I like to help people when I can. I'm not really good at what I do, but I don't know everything. But I look at my deck and I look at, maybe what they're looking for in their deck and if I can help them. It's kind of basically, we got to help each other. We're a community. um, there was something I was going to say and I forgot. Oh yeah. So what do you do if you want to see the guy's deck and he's in the middle of a duel? The big thing is when somebody's in the middle of a duel and you want to trade or talk or see their deck, then don't pick up the cards and right in the middle of their duel and start going through it. That's not appropriate. Wait. Have patience. You will be able to get to talk to a lot of people. And I know it may seem overwhelming, and you may end up like a kid in a candy shop where you're just, oh my god, I have so many people around me that are just people have a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards all over. Just it's Yu-Gi-Oh mega heaven. You just died and went to Yu-Gi-Oh heaven. I understand that feeling is gonna pop. It's gonna infuse yourself. It's gonna just it's going to be incorporated in a card shop because I get it. A card shop is full of that kind of stuff, and it's just mega happiness. I'm the same way. I'm a kid in a candy shop because I love Yugioh and I love doing things with these cards. Pardon me, but I have to have patience. Patience, willingness. Start a problem. Am I able to, there are a lot of other people out there that you could talk to. If there's a lot of other people that are there, talk to the other people that are free. Then wait for the guy to come back. Just, or just wait until if his opponent's turn, you can just say, pardon me, hey, I would like to maybe look at your Yu-Gi-Oh cards when you're done. I'll, and if not, then that's okay. And then just walk. And then make sure that they heard you. They'll probably say, okay, or mm-hmm. Just make sure that they heard you. Be clear, but don't be like, hey, don't scream at them. Just let them know that at least you would like to look at the cards. And then walk. There's going to be a lot of cards out there that I'm sure a lot of people have that you don't. And I'm sure there are going to be a lot of cards that you probably don't have that other people have that are probably going to be more money. So then that's a different ball game. Try to figure out how much they're looking for. And if you are willing to spend a little bit on that card, only if it helps you, or if you just want to collect it, then that's fine. But if it's like $100 card and you don't have that much, then don't do it. Just walk away. Or what you could do is sweeten the deal by going, okay, I'll give you this much and maybe some of these cards. I'll throw in some cards. Just look at a couple cards that you would like. I'll throw in some cash and some cards. If that works, that works. Be willing to try to make some good deals. I mean, called the bundle package or the package. They'll do some cash and then they'll put an item together. They'll do a package deal. So basically, you want to bundle. Now, we'll talk about that a little bit later on some pros and cons with bundling. But be willing to make maybe a bundle package, kind of give them a package deal. Or, okay, you know, you're willing to talk cash and you're maybe willing to throw in some cards or maybe something like that. So, cash and cards for, for whatever card they're willing to have. Now, remember that for you. You don't want to just try to get that card because you want it. There's either going to be two purposes, and only get the card because it has a purpose. The first purpose would be, um, okay, well, that card can maybe help me. Or maybe that card is Japanese, because there are Japanese cards that were out there, like, where before she got censored, she pretty much had, her tatas flying out. They're rarities. So things like those kind of cards may be common. There may be common ones, and there may be rare, ultra rare, and super rare, and secret rare. Whatever the case may be, something like that's a collector's item. That's not really meant to be used. So don't think, oh, I'm gonna get this rare dark magician girl because her tits are falling out, and I'm gonna be able to use it. and it's all Japanese. That's not gonna work because again, that card is not going to be very appropriate because what if you're playing against a 5-year-old kid and you pull out that card and that kid's going to be traumatized probably, or you're going to probably start asking questions like, what the heck is that card? And why is it the way it is? So you got to be willing to answer some of those things. And as I always say, try to be prepared for that too, because those kind of cards are out there. Um, I know Konami did censor the card a little bit later, and I know there's a lot of reprints of a lot of cards out there, and that's going to be one of those things that, like, Dark Magician Girl with her Tata is handing out. It's probably one of the best cards I could probably ever look for, but it's not one that you're going to be guys. True. So remember the factor that are these cards that are going to be legal in the duel, or are they just collectors, or are they going to be something that's going to benefit me, or something that I'm going to use to collect, or as a bargaining chip? Just remember those things. And also, when you're dealing with little kids, watch your language. That's the big thing. I hear a lot of people using. I do it too. I have the tendency to do it as well. I swear like a sailor. I don't know why. I'm just that kind of person. I hate it, but I do it. And it just bugs me too. But sometimes when I let her rip, I do not notice it, and I don't care. And I should. But watch your language. If you're going to especially be around little kids, because sometimes in professional duels, there are going to be little people. Little people with little ears. You may call them virgins. Yes, they are, very sensitive. So don't, go around trying to spurt every language you know. And don't be throwing up no gain signs either. Don't be trying to play no gain banner because this is not a place to be going out trying to pretend you're. I don't want. Nobody wants to see you be throwing up Bloods and Crips and Latin 13s just because you lost in a duel or because you're. That's just who you are. Nobody wants to see that crap, and it's very, very wrong to do it because it just does not work that way. And again, you're gonna have little kids in there. Potentially, you might have little kids in there, and you don't want them being learning all these little hand gesture crap that you're throwing out. Just have an appropriate. Remember, think about it this way. Imagine you were at your grandma's. Would you do that at your grandma's? Probably not a good idea. I sometimes I do swear a lot at my grandma, and I do not throw up gang signs because I'm no gang banner. But you know, think about it this way: if imagine when you're around a kid, you're around your grandma. That doesn't like cursing. So you're around somebody who doesn't like foul language or bad hand gestures or very inappropriate hand gestures, I should say. You're gonna have to remember that's a factor into being around these kind of people that they're young. There are people probably about 27, 28, 29, 30, 16, 15, 19, that there are probably people that are 19 or a little bit older that know a lot of swear words, and I'm assure you that I know a lot of kids probably in this generation know every word probably in the book, and I do too. And we're not gonna be putting this on here because I don't want to get censored or, monetized. But um, Just remember, these kids have never heard these words, and you really don't want to. I mean, be the one that gives them the example. That's being a bad example. You don't want to be a bad example. You want to be a good example. Um, watch what you say is the big thing, and be appropriate. I mean, don't talk like okay. I understand guys are guys. They're gonna have sexual moments or sexual talks with their friend. It's a common thing. I have friends that do it with me a lot, and I just when I have times where I'm okay with it. I will listen in and I'll joke around with them and I'll be just as dirty or nasty as they are because I'm a guy and of course that's what I can do. But there are times where I don't do it, and the one time I don't do it is again in front of little kids, and I don't do it in front of people that are not very fond of it. I do it. No, here's an example. If you're in front of a 10-year-old kid, you're doing, and your friend makes a penis joke. Now, your friend is going to be the one that's going to probably end up looking like a complete idiot or getting banned or kicked out or banned because of it. And you don't want to do. Your main focus should be Yu-Gi-Oh mode. Having fun. I understand that there are people out there, that okay, well, heck, you're playing, you're a guy, and I'm sure these kids are gonna hear it later. It doesn't really matter because you're basically telling a very inappropriate joke around a child, and also, excuse me, that can get you in big trouble too. So, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry. Um, you don't want to end up having that kind of situation where you're stuck with a very bad charge or end up getting banned or kicked. So just be appropriate, and that's the big thing right there is that you remember how you everywhere around you can be heard. Not just the kid can hear you, but potentially the parent could hear you, the official could hear you, even everyone else behind you or in front of you can hear it. So it will pass. So you don't want it to be effective on you or affected you. So just because your friend made a very nasty, inappropriate joke does not mean that you need to continue the conversation. You just need to look at your friend and let him know, hey, this is very inappropriate. We got a child here. This child does not need to learn these things. And these should not be heard from a child's point of view. So cut the inappropriate conversation until later. We'll have an appropriate conversation. And again, watch your mouth. Watch your swearing. Don't talk about drugs and gangbangers and cigarettes and crap like that, because those are things that little kids can hear. And I'm sure you might surprisingly hear a kid say, "I've heard all of it, and don't worry about it." And yeah, the kid's just baiting you. Sometimes that's bait. The kid's baiting you to do it. He or that kid wants you to do it because then they can follow behind you, or they can tell their mommy or daddy or their friends that they heard of this, and it could come back at you. So just be aware that that can happen. It can fall back on you. Um, it's abstracted. always remember another thing is that when you're dueling, it's okay to tell people no. Like, for example, somebody wants to see your cards, and you really kind of are not in the mood right there, and then to let people look at them because you're doing something. It's always okay to say, not right now. I'm sorry. Maybe in a little bit, but don't be like, yeah. Don't be demonic or evil about it. Just, be very nice about it, but you can tell them, hey, look, I'm sorry, I'm busy. You can say no. No, I'm sorry. I'm really busy right now. Maybe in a little bit, or maybe next time I'll catch you. I'll let you look at it. Don't be afraid to do that. It's okay. Um, you're gonna probably get rejected yourself, but there are people out there that are actually willing to do it. I don't know how many people are actually willing to say no to letting you see their cards. I know that their cards are a big thing, but I don't know how many people will say no because Yu-Gi-Oh is one of those things that it's no biggie. Um, if somebody does do your Yu-Gi-Oh cards, what do I do? Well, here's the thing: if somebody ejects your cards, try to be careful. Just say, hey, this person's. And don't try to go apprehend the guy yourself, because that could potentially get you killed. You could get hurt yourself because you don't know if the guy's gonna have a knife or have a needle or anything or a gun. So you don't want to get hurt yourself, but you don't want anyone else to get hurt as well. I understand, but if you have pepper spray or mace, and a guy, don't be trying to spray the guy, but you know, and probably pepper spray is not a good idea. So ignore that last one. But just let people know, hey, this guy stole my card. I need my cards back. Let them know because that then they'll have somebody officially who knows what they're doing to grab the cards. Don't do it unless you personally know what you're doing and you know what you're up against because you don't know if the guy has AIDS or hepatitis or some disease and you don't want to get it and he hits you with the needle. And that was his whole goal, the person's goal, the whole entire blood on it that has AIDS. Now you have that virus, or you can get hurt or killed or have disease or whatever. Not that it always, but I'm just saying if push comes to shove and that does happen, be prepared that it's something that will potentially need to be dealt. Or if you know what you're doing and you're willing to gamble the risk. But that normally people in a Yu-Gi-Oh store probably would not try to bring weapons because normally weapons are not allowed, and so you're basically kind of left with they'll just jack and run. But just ultimately be careful because you never know. In this day and age, you never know what could happen. So be prepared. Now, there's another thing of like the same situation where I have. Should I buy a binder or do the suitcase? Well, again, that is, um, again, I, kind of don't have a binder. So I honestly have to go with my suitcase over here, or my little briefcase. So it all depends, I guess. I mean, a binder with card holder protection, card holder sleeves are a very good thing to have. probably a lot better than what I'm using right now, how I'm doing it right now. Stuff, and I'm gonna try to get one. I do have to try to get one, but I just do it this way for now until I get the money to do one. Um, you kind of would probably look really, really weird carrying a briefcase into a Yugioh game center, and it just probably wouldn't look really right. Yeah, it might get a little suspicious. So you're probably best off with a binder with a portfolio or one of those binders with the card holders on them. Because then that way it's not looking suspicious. And, because of this day and age, again, of what has happened numerous times, and a lot of the attacks and a lot of the things that we've gone through, you might want to be on the safe side. And especially just because even though you may not be a bad person, somebody may look at the briefcase and think, oh my God, you're a bad person. Even though that's not your intention. Your intentions are to basically just have fun, trade, and because you probably don't have the binder. So you gotta be careful. Because, some people could interpret it wrong. But, because people don't, because those are the people that don't know you very well, they're going to be quick to judge. And today's day and age, I see a lot of people judging people very quickly. So you want to make sure that you're prepared that is what's potentially going to happen. Um, so I would probably do not briefcase. The binder, you can flip the cards and you can easily see the cards that people can look at the cards that maybe might be up for trade or, be able to look at the cards that you have. Instead, this way you have to unravel everything and just kind of, sit there. You don't have that option. You can do it either way. You can put all monsters in front and all spells and traps or whatever next page, and however you want to do it. That's perfectly fine. I definitely look at and see what the different things you have instead of making it hard like this, where it's like all rubber band and just no fun. I did wish Dollar Tree would sell those. Even though those are probably not going to be really good ones, I really wish Dollar Tree would do it. Um, I don't think my Dollar Tree has them, but I know my Game Shop does. Now, I do already have my Dueling sleeves. I really did want to get some new sleeves in a box. I didn't want to carry that big box all over. But because again, like I said, I have a limit too how much I would like to spend. I'm probably going to get a portfolio for my extras if it's at a good cost. Not that I'm going to buy one at like a $29 binder. Because I can easily buy a binder and I can go to Bimart or Goodwill or some place cheap. Like I could wait for Dollar Tree to have their school binders because back to school sales. So their school binders maybe for $1, and then buy some of those Ultra Pro sleeve packs, one or two, maybe $10 a piece or whatever they sell. I've also had questions like sleeved or unsleeved cards, and why? Well, when you play with cards like this where they are unsleeved, your cards are more likely to get bent, ruined, damaged, wet, basically damaged, bent, damaged, or um, just stuff happened to them, and it's not protected. Yes, slaves sometimes can be a real pain in the butt. It can be a real pain, but you have to do what's right. Protect your cards. Because you got to remember, again, these cards are yours, and yours alone to do as you choose and please. But you would want them to be in good condition. Now, for these ones, yeah, I normally would love to have these protected, and I try. And again, right now, I'm closing my binder or my briefcase full of cards, but you would want them protected because they can last longer, and if you happen to trade cards, you want to give the person a good card, not that it's bent, growing snot on, water damaged, you know, whatever. You don't want that. You don't want to give card. I would not want to receive a bad card, so you don't want to give a good card. So think about it this way: you would want to give the person the same kind of condition of card that they would. So kind of like the Bible, do unto others as you do unto yourself. Well, do I give him a bad card? Well, if I give him a card that has snot and um, it's bent, that person's not going to want it because it's not worth anything, and they honestly probably couldn't use it for anything. So that card's crap. So think about it that way. I mean, that's a good way to think about it. But also, when you're playing, it's a good idea to have slaves, especially when you're playing, because when you're playing, your cards are gonna get either thrown down or you're gonna, your good cards are gonna get shuffled a lot. So you're gonna have to, you know, every time you shuffle, your cards are gonna have that corner maybe bent a couple of degrees, where the logo or whatever color starts deteriorating. So you're gonna protect. It's a good way to protect yourself, or I mean your cards, and it makes them last longer, and it makes them a lot more easier to read, and they might be worth something to other people, or you can keep them longer and pass them down to your children if you have children, or your little brother, or somebody that you want to pass them down to. So you definitely want to do that. The rule of thumb is always try to, be good at, you know, choose what you please, but I don't want, I really, again, am not happy with my cards being in this briefcase. So I might end up, instead of buying a brand new box and a dueling sleeves, card sleeves, I'm probably going to end up buying a binder. Alright. But again, let's choose. Now, there's another question that there's so many, is being a Yu-Gi-Oh collector or doing Yu-Gi-Oh cheap? No. I mean, because, well, not 10 force, but is it cheap? No. It's just like doing Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, or any trading cards. Any card games like that. They're going to be expensive. And there's going to have to be at some point. I'm almost hitting that point section where I'm just about ready to stop. I don't need no more cards. I'm happy with what I have. But I would like to collect. I'd like to trade. I'd like to, let other people see what I can do with, dueling wise, and just be able to speak with them and converse with them. But it is not cheap. You're gonna have to spend time on, money on your deck, creating your deck. You're gonna have to create, you're gonna have to have sleeves. You're gonna have to have something to protect it in. You're gonna have to either. Oh, jeez. Excuse me. Oh, I love it. Sorry. So, sorry guys. It's not really cheap. It's like doing any card collecting game. You're gonna have to spend time and money. You're gonna have to spend money on the deck. You're gonna have to spend money on protect, card sleeves. You're gonna have to spend money on probably don't work very well in the rain. You're gonna have to spend money on trying to protect. What if you have other extra cards like what I have, or just any extra cards? You got to protect those as well. It's not cheap. It's expensive. They can get up there. Now, the point of habit is no the of whether or not how far you go with it. If you make it a habitual habit to do this every day, then it's gonna get very expensive very fast, and it will probably get you broke quick. Just that fast, you can end up losing a lot of money, and you put a lot of money, and especially in the card. Like what? Okay, for me, I only have one deck, but I have extra cards that I can, make maybe other decks out of. But I try to keep my other cards so that I can trade and have to maybe help other people. I might get rid of my other cards. I don't know. But I probably won't because I really don't want, I don't like not having extra cards. I like having extra cards that work and in my advantage. Now, am I going to spend money on trying to, buying another deck? No. I could probably do it, but I'm not going to right now. So the thing is just how much you want to go, how far you want to go. If you're gonna make it a habit, then it's probably it's not really wise to make it a habit unless you're getting paid by Konami or you're doing it, and it's just you're because again Yu-Gi-Oh has kind of died out a lot, and the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh kind of has died a little kind of doesn't make the cards much worth much more anyway. And a lot of the cards you have that may be old are common cards. So all the common cards are not going to be worth much. They'll probably only be a penny a piece. And it takes 100 to make $1. So rounding out, you'll probably only get like $2, $3 out of a whole pack, maybe. I don't know. So it's not really worth much to give it to the um, what do you call it, um, to the card shop. So you probably don't want to make it a habit. Like for me, I was thinking about maybe one point in time buying another deck and starting like an Yugioh or a good card deck. And I thought about it now. I'm thinking more and more about it, and I'm thinking, I would like to do it. I just probably would not do it because I already have my Blue Eyes deck. And my Blue Eyes deck is pretty good. Even though Exodia, basically, if you get all 5 in your hand, you win. My Blue Eyes is pretty good too. So I'm happy with what I have. So I might not do it. but I might do it anyway. Who knows? But I'm gonna try not to spend too much on this. Like right now, I've chose, I've got Saturday. I was gonna potentially go out and do Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, and then I thought, no, tomorrow I might do some. Then I can have some little bitty itty bitty cash to do this, right? So do I get the cards or what? What do I do? You have to be very wise with your decision. Okay, am I going to spend all my money on a bunch of cards and then not have food for the week? Be smart. Food and cards. What's more important, food or cards? Well, cards are fun to play with, but food is a necessity to have to make you be able to focus on playing with the cards. So you kind of got to go hand to hand to what's more important. Food more has kind of the more needs than the cards. So you think about those things. Those things are the most up important thing. And don't let the cards damage your relationship with your partner or the person you love or your family. Don't let the cards come in between what's important in life, which is your family, your loved ones, and your partner or whoever. You need to have time with them too, because your cards can always wait. They're an inanimate object. Yeah, you may love them, like I do love my cards, but they're not that important. They're important for love using them, and I do love them because they're something that I grew up with. But they're not more important than my relationship with my fiance or my family or anyone. This is least important. So don't use your cards as an excuse that you are going to be lazy, because it will just focus on 100% around you can damage you. And I see that, it can happen because I know it can happen. So a lot of you guys think, oh, I just deal with cards all day. No, I do other things. I actually do, kind of. Okay, that's true. But I might go out and take a walk. I might go to the card shop today just to peek at things. But I'm not going to make it effective that I'm going to let this ruin my life. So don't let those things ruin your life, because that would definitely hurt you and hurt your partner or whoever that it would just hurt you altogether, and it's not worth it. Don't let the cards affect or overtake your life. Your life is more precious than these cards. These cards, even when you die, will always be here. And that's it. That's just the end, bottom line. So, how much money do I spend on a deck? What's the right amount? Because there are a lot of old decks that are probably really old, like the original decks, like the Yugioh and the Joey deck or the Kaiba deck. They're gonna be um, maybe 50, $100. That's a little too much. Try to find it cheaper if you can, because you don't want to spend more than you have to. Because honestly, if you don't play a lot, then it's not worth it. Like for me, I play once in a while with people, but I don't think it's worth it for me to go out and spend like $50 on cards, which I surprisingly accidentally spent 60. And yeah, but that's because Amazon overcharged me, which is on them, not me. But you know, just pay what the right appropriate amount. I wouldn't go over. I wouldn't spend a ridiculous $100 on a pack structure deck. No, or a boost. Like I've seen, there was somebody that told told me, okay, well, $100 for a structure deck is really probably not that bad because it might have good cards and might have a lot of rare cards, rarity to it. Okay, so thinking logically here, are you gonna spend $100 on a big structure deck that might not even have that many rare cards? It might have one or two, or if it does say it has rare cards, is it really worth it? I mean, just to use them? No. For me, if I wanted to buy a booster pack, let's just say this: if I was gonna go buy a booster, I was gonna buy a booster pack. I would not go and spend $50 on a booster pack. No, I would not even spend 40, maybe 40 or 30. But it depends. I wouldn't probably 40. I probably wouldn't do it because the booster packs are small and they probably are not going to have very much that you're looking for. So I wouldn't buy a booster pack for 40 or 50 or 100 or 200. I wouldn't do that. I would probably tell myself, no, a booster pack or deck of cards or any cards like that are not worth that much. Like when I go down to Dollar Tree and I buy those cards, it's a gamble. Every time I open them, it's a gamble. It's a gamble. And am I gonna really gamble? Am I gonna gamble on those cards? Those cards are a gamble. That okay, sorry guys. Because every time you buy those cards, it's a gamble. You're chancing the fact of having 0% chance of getting any rare or any foil cards or any cards that will help you. You're gambling. So the same way with a booster pack, you're gambling and you're spending $50 on a gamble. No. $40 on a gamble? No. Well, I actually did. I took one chance on a big booster pack. That was probably about. I didn't do very good, but it was a gamble for me. It was a gamble that I took, and I probably shouldn't have done it. So right now, I have decided right now that I can go out and spend $2 on a booster pack. Whether or not I choose to do that, or I choose to go buy food, which I have food right here, or buy things for my room, which I choose. Whether or not I choose to do is on me. And I thought I saw a spider crawling around me. I'm seeing dogs again. I swear, I'm going crazy. Whoa, I think I'm going nuts. So you guys, basically, I'm spending only $2 because the rest I'm gonna spend on the times with my family. So I choose to do what I do. So I hope this helps you guys. I really want you guys to be able to, have fun and just be willing to, not have a phone get knocked over. Stupid phone. It's not worth buying a big amount of cards if you're not going to use them. And it's not worth. And okay, if you're gonna buy a structure deck just for the fact of nostalgia, just memories, then that's fine too. But don't spend too much on it. Be wise with what you spend, because your family, your health, and your needs are more important than the cards. So I hope you guys had fun listening to me yak a lot, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.